Welcome back to the Hoop Truck Podcast. I am your host, Alex Wells, and today's guest is an MTSU legend. His top 5 in points, steals, rebounds, field goals made, minutes played, and starts. And he's also the all-time leading winner in MTSU history. We have none other than Reggie Upshaw. What's up, bro?
What's good, baby?
How we doing, man?
How you doing?
Man, so we've been talking before camera, man, catching up and everything, man. So we're gonna get some shots up and talk ball, talk about your journey, and talk about what you're doing now since you have retired. And I forgot to mention this in the intro. You played overseas for 7 years in 8 different countries. So, man, he's got a great story, man. Had a great career at MTSU, honestly, man. I told him I was gonna call him Mr. MTSU, so we still snuck that in there. But on this episode, we're doing something a little different. So we're doing spot shooting, and it's gonna be a competition to see who finishes making the shots at all the different spots. So we got the red, purple, blue, green, and we're ending it up with the money ball at the very, very top. So throughout the episode, we'll be shooting at these different spots and see who wins. So, yeah. So, all right, man. So take us back to junior year at Baylor. Let's start there with like how your season went, what your role was on the team, what you averaged and all that.
Man, okay, that's a while ago. Okay. So going back to junior year, I was a 3-sport athlete. Damn. I was a 3-sport athlete, so, you know, like I wasn't really necessarily even focused on basketball to start with. Like it never really crossed my mind like, yeah, I'm gonna go to college and play.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna go to college and play or even think about playing professionally. And so when basketball season rolled around, I was already kind of late because I was doing all the football stuff. And so I jumped into the basketball joint. I think I might have averaged like 20 and 10 or like 18 and 10, something like that.
You
Nothing
said like
crazy to me.
20 and 10 as a junior.
It didn't seem like a lot, I guess, because like we weren't winning with it. You
Okay,
feel me?
okay.
Like we was running into Macaulay every year.
Yeah.
And that's when they had like CJ Price and you feel me? Like they had Cordell, Terrence O'Donohue. And for me, shit, it was just me at Baylor. And it was all them at Macaulay. That was our biggest rival. So that 20 and 10 that I was trying to put up wasn't enough for all the guys that they had. But we ended up going, I think we made it to like the what is it, the Final Four sub-state or whatever it is for our region, or our whatever it is, classification or whatever, but it really never really went any further than that. Like my basketball career in high school, I don't think it was one of those where like you just look back on it and remember it in the way that you could probably look back and remember some of the other guys that's come through chat, like yours or, you know, like people in your class.
I got you.
At least in my opinion.
Yeah. So you played football too, wide receiver and tight end, and you also ran track where you won a state champion, like once, I guess what you call a state championship in the high jump, right?
Yeah.
Was that your senior year?
That was it was all senior year. Man, I'm telling you, it all blends together, but
Yeah.
So junior year was probably the craziest year just in terms of recruitment because everything started coming in. You know, like my body was filling out. I went from being like 6'4" to 6'7". I went from 170 pounds to like 200 pounds. So like I started really turning into kind of what I am now, which is just like a hybrid looking type of player. But in football, I was like a unicorn. You know, damn, come on, Reggie. Damn. There we go. I was a unicorn in football, you know, 6'7", but I came to Vandy and ran a 4.5. You feel me? So in that way, you know, I'm looking at it. My dad played football too. He played at MT actually. So like with all that, I'm thinking, all right, yeah, I got the size and the speed. I can catch good enough, like well enough.
So you were getting recruited in football too?
Yeah, all my offers were way better in football than basketball. Way better. Like I had like my highest offer in basketball came from West Virginia, which that's a huge offer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie about it, but that was the only high major offer I had really for basketball. But in in football, I had, I don't know, Vandy, was talking to Tennessee, was close to an offer from them.
That's big time, SEC.
You feel me? Like, I had a bunch of SEC and, like, Big Ten schools coming for me and whatnot. So I really probably honestly should have. I think everything worked out how it's supposed to, but looking back, like, it would have been a fun journey trying to go play football too.
So what made you take a basketball scholarship rather than a football scholarship?
Man, I got hurt my senior year. I remember both plays too, because I broke my ankle twice. So I broke it. I broke it in football, going up for a jump ball. I caught the ball, but when I came down like right on the inside of my ankle. So I ended up breaking my ankle. And then I sat out the rest of that football season. And then the second game of the basketball season, man, I went up for a rebound, came down on Big B foot, broke it again.
Senior year? Senior year. So you didn't even get to finish your senior year?
I finished it. I only played like 4 basketball games, and somehow I was still in the running for Mr. Basketball.
Dang.
But I was averaging like 26 and down 13 or something.
That's crazy. So that's why you chose basketball, because like the football, it was the road to recovery, and then the offers and all that. Yeah,
well, when I was like my first SEC offer was from Vandy, and so I'm talking to them, and I was already kind of underweight to be what they wanted me to be, because they wanted me to be like 260, 270 or something like that. Yeah, for tight end. And you gotta think I'm 190, 200 pounds. I'm like, bro, 260 or 270, that's gonna take some time. And they were talking about something called a gray shirt, which is basically you just work out all year. You're not really with the team as much. And then I would red shirt, and then I would get to play. But for where I was at, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
6 years of school to hopefully maybe possibly play, no chance. So I ended up just choosing basketball, man. I chose MT. They were with me through it all, really. Like, I committed to MT, but then like when the newspaper and everything started calling my mom, I never told her that I was committing. Like, I came on a visit, and then like as me and my dad are driving back to Chat, I committed. Like, they called me and was like, hey, how you feeling? I was like, I'm ready to come. Like, I'm ready to make it official. And so I ended up committing to MT, but then I had to decommit because like I just went about it the wrong way.
Oh, okay.
So I committed, decommitted, opened my recruitment back up, was gonna go to West Virginia. And then I ended up getting hurt. And so after that, it was wraps, and I was at MT for the rest of it.
So then you finally signed with MT. When did you officially sign?
Whenever national signing period was for my year, I think it was like November or something.
November, yeah. That. So you signed early.
Yeah, I signed in that early.
So you were already hurt.
I was already hurt. That's what I'm saying. They did not care about anything that I had to do with being injured. They didn't care about having to have surgery. None of that.
Oh, that's dope. Then.
It's like they stuck with me the whole ride.
Yeah. That says a lot about them for sure. Then.
No, for sure. Like they could have did what West Virginia did, because like Huggins came and watched me at Baylor. Like, he watched me practice football. We talked for a little while. He was like, hey, look, you got an offer, but we don't want you to play football anymore. But in my head, I'm like, I can't
just quit.
Yeah, I was like, Coach, I can't not play. I'm getting recruited for both sports. Like, I can't just give it up.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, well, if anything happens, we can't promise that we can honor that scholarship. And I understood it. Like, that's a high major program. They got guys that can go. So I understood what he was saying. It just, when it actually happened, I was like, wow, it's over. Like, I'm not going there for sure.
Yeah. So MTSU. So what was your you came up here after you signed your first day. Well, I guess you had summer workouts and all that. Yeah. So you came up early. Were you were cleared to play already?
Yeah. I had. Well, you gotta think. I played my last 4 games of my high school.
Oh, you played the last 4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I played like the first 2 and the last 4. That was all. I played 6 games the whole year. So like by the time I got to MT, I was ready to go. Yeah. Like, I had barely played, so I was ready to jump in summer workouts, pick up whatever they had going on. I was trying to do it. So it ended up working out.
Yeah. So what was it like coming on campus, like as a freshman, like starting practice and all that, and then your first taste of college?
Hey, it was a different world, man. Like, nothing can really prepare you for it either. Like, you just kind of got to jump in and hope that your talent can kind of show. I mean, and it doesn't matter where you play at. You could play, I don't know, you could play middle of nowhere. You could be at Duke. It don't matter. Everybody's going to go through the same type of transition where it's like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to lean on what I know, which is I know my work and what I do. So that's all I can do. So I got the MT. And at Baylor, I was playing like the five, like, because I was the biggest person on my team. So, and we played zone the whole year. So right off the jump, when I got the MT, I was behind the curve in terms of trying to play man. So when I first got there, there was only one spot that was open, and it was like the 3, small forward. So I was trying to find a way to crack the rotation, being a freshman. And the only way to get in was to play the 3 after being basically a 5 all high school.
So now you're having to guard guys that are quicker.
Yeah.
And you played zone all high school, so you ain't never had to really move.
So I was already behind the 8 ball. And so like my first couple of weeks, you know, I told my coach at the time, I was like, hey, look, I'm trying to play. It don't matter. You can put me anywhere. And so he was like, all right, we're going to start pushing you then. So right after that conversation, next week at practice, he split us all up like guards and bigs, and obviously, you know, I'm going with the bigs. And we start doing this drill, and like halfway through the drill, he stops the practice. He tells me to just start. I had to go up at half court and guard every point guard on our roster, one-on-one from half court. And I had to make sure that, you know, like it's a one-on-one game, so you try not to let them score and stuff. So, I mean, that was my first like wake-up experience into like, all right, if you want to play, you're going to have to do some things you've never done before.
Ooh. Yeah. That's tough, right? In front of the whole team.
In front of the whole team. And he didn't care. He doesn't, Kermit Davis, he don't, like, he's easily the best coach I've ever had in my life. But while you play for him, you're like, bro, please stop talking to me. Please stop demanding these things from me. Like, come on now. Be realistic with some of the stuff you're asking me right now. But
yeah.
In the long run, it works out.
That's a big transition, right? That's a huge transition.
Huge transition, man.
Coming from power forward, you know, center essentially to, especially on defense.
But, I mean, it all worked out. Like, he saw something in me, I guess, that I didn't really even know was there until it was time to really get rolling.
So how many minutes did you play a game and all that, like your freshman year? Did you get any playing time?
So starting out, it was just like spot minutes because he was still trying to figure out rotations and trying to figure out who can play with who. But once conference started, like my first conference game, I had a double-double. I 15 to 10 as a freshman. And so after that, I kind of was like, it was my spot. So I started, it was me as the only true freshman and 4 seniors playing. And so like from then on, that's where my journey really started to kind of just take off because, you know, I'm learning from all the guys that I'm on the court with. And that's 4 seniors, so they telling me all the things, and they really watching out for me while I'm out there with them. And then, you know, after that, it was just kind of my thing to do. Or it was my team to kind of try to lead once they graduated.
So what was your role on that team your freshman year? Like, obviously, if you know.
It was just 3-and-D. That was it, 3-and-D, and don't mess up. Like, run the plays, get the ball to the guys who's supposed to score it. Because I'm a freshman. You know, like, if I got a shot, take it, but we're gonna run this thing to the 6'5" shooting guard we got. We're gonna throw it into the player of the year that ended up being the player of the year that year.
Oh, okay.
Like,
so y'all had a good team then.
Yeah, we won the conference my freshman year.
Dang.
And so my whole role was just don't mess up.
Yeah.
Just be solid. That was it. Just be solid.
So I won the conference your freshman year.
Well, we tied for the, you know what I mean? Like we tied for it. We got a ring for it, but we didn't like win it outright, but we won. So
in going into your sophomore year, your role was definitely growing. Was it your team already?
It was my team, but it wasn't like all the way my team. Like I was one of the, I guess, the notable faces. Mm-hmm. But we still had like some seniors who had been also a part of those teams that, like, because the year before I got the MT, they went to the tournament. And they played in that first 4 game against St. Mary's and ended up losing like that was when they had Dellavedova and all that. So it was still some guys from that squad who kind of had, you know.
They were getting playing time, but they just weren't starting.
Yeah.
So they were starting. Your
like my
sophomore
year, they were seniors, so it was kind of their team, but like you could see the changing of the guard coming.
Yeah.
And that was my worst year at MT. Like we were like 500, 19 and 19 or something like that. Like we didn't really do a lot.
How'd you do individually?
I averaged like 10 and 10, 9. I think it was honestly like 9.9 and 9,
okay.
something like that. So almost a double-double. We ended up going to the conference championship, and we lost to UAB, but that was when I think they had went to the tournament, and they were like the 12-5 upset that year. And so I saw that, and I'm like, okay, we just played them.
Yeah.
So now we leading into my junior season, and we got the same team coming back minus one guy. So now in my head, we're supposed to do what UAB just did. Like we're supposed to be the 12 seed to go to the tournament. We're supposed to run through Conference USA. You know what I mean? Like they're supposed to be afraid of us now.
Yeah.
And
was it like that?
My junior year, it ended up being like that. Like to start, it was not like that at all. Like we were very much so struggling. Not struggling, but we didn't run through anything. And then like halfway through that conference schedule, we found some type of recipe that was working. And then once we breezed through the first 2 rounds of the conference tournament, made it to the championship against ODU, won by like 2 on some game-winning free throws. And then the rest was history after that.
The NCAA tournament, first round. What seed were y'all?
15.
15.
15 seed.
So playing what would that be?
2.
15 and 2.
15-2.
You got Michigan State. So when they do the whole selection Sunday, talk about that process. When y'all obviously I probably have like a little party or whatever, sitting there watching it together as a team.
So when all that came out, there's a huge buzz in the city just because one, like I said, like they had made it. I don't know how many that was. I think that was 2.
Yeah, 2.
I don't know. Like our buzz was different than the year that they had made it before I got here. Because we were like actually in the tournament. They made it to that first 4 in, so they had to play the play-in game.
Yeah. So
we didn't have to do that. We were just in. We were part of those 64 that were already in. And so, like we were watching the selection show, and we're like, obviously, there's always teams that you want to play because of their name. So, like for me, I want to play against Tennessee just because, like, you from Tennessee, you want to play against the one team that's supposed to like run the state. And so the whole time I'm like, I hope we get somehow, some way, I hope we just end up in their region. But that didn't work out. And while we're waiting on the brackets to be, first air ball of the day.
No, it hit the rim. It grazed. It grazed.
But like while we're waiting on the brackets to be revealed, like I get a text message from someone and they're like, hey, the bracket it's been leaked. Like, do you want to know who y'all are playing? And part of me was like, nah, because I want to see it when it pops up, and I want it to like, I want the excitement to just be there for me. But then another part was like, I kind of want to know so that I can play it cool in front of all these cameras when I find out. And so the person ended up telling me about it. And so I kept it cool. I didn't tell any of my teammates or anything. I kind of kept it to myself. And then like 5 minutes later, boom, Michigan State pops up. Everybody starts going crazy. But like there was never any like timidness or trepidation from like our team at all. Like when you hear about Michigan State and what they were supposed to do that year, they were supposed to win a national championship. They had 4 guys that went to the NBA on that team alone who played and started for them. So
who were some of the guys on that team?
That's when they had like Denzel Valentine, Bryn Forbes, Matt Costello, and Deontay Davis, who all, they played a couple years in the league at that.
Yeah.
So, like when we saw their name pop up, we were like, oh, we're good. Like we can do this. For sure we can do this. And like we're gonna do this. And so like they released the bracket. I went up, I said a couple words to everybody that was there. And then shoot, whatever day that was in March, history was made.
How long did y'all have like to prepare? Like when was the
So
the
like it's
time?
selection Sunday, so you find out about it on Sunday, and then I think we left on like Tuesday and played on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
So y'all had just a few days.
Couple days, and then after that, you win that first game.
Hold on, you can't go forward now. We got to talk about the game. So y'all, what region were y'all in? Where'd y'all play at?
We played in St. Louis.
In St. Louis?
Yeah.
So y'all pull up game day, man. What's the feeling you're getting? Because I mean,
I'm anxious.
But
it's like it's good. It's like a good amount of anxiousness that I have. It's not nerves. I'm not nervous because like, what can we lose? Like we're here now.
Yeah.
And we have nothing to lose. No pressure on us. We weren't even supposed to be here for real. And so like the night before, I can't sleep. I might have slept, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours max the whole day.
Man.
And so, we wake up that morning, I try to eat. I can't really eat anything either. I'm trying, but I'm just so nervous about, I guess I'm so anxious about what's about to happen that I think the whole day I might have ate like a banana, a couple almonds.
What time was y'all's game?
I feel like we had a late one. I think, if I can remember straight, it was like 8 o'clock or something like that. Like we didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We had a lot of time leading into the game. We didn't have a lot of time once that game was over going to that next one. But that whole day just felt like it felt like one day was 10 years leading up to the game.
So tip-off happens, man. Like, walk us through, like, just like, the game, the vibes y'all are getting from the crowd, all that.
So, like, we leaving from the hotel, and they done, like, MT, they've already, like, started to have everybody meet us at the hotel to kind of send us off. And so they got, like, 3 buses waiting on us outside, cheerleaders, band, bunch of fans just all waiting on us to walk out to kind of, like, pep us up before we get on the bus. So we get on the bus, we head over, we get the police escort, so now everybody's feeling like, huh. When you're growing up, everybody wants a police escort somewhere, unless you're going to, unless you're going to jail, then you're in trouble. But in basketball, you always want to get a police escort because that means you're playing in a huge game.
Facts.
And so we ended up, we get to the arena, and it just—
Is that 3?
Yeah.
Right here.
So we get to the arena, and from there, it was like, it's time. It's time. Like, there's nothing else you can prepare for. There's nothing else you can do, say, hear. It's just on whatever we got, that's what we got to do. Or whatever we got, that's all we got.
Yeah.
And so tip-off went off. I won the tip, and I'm only 6'7", but I'm jumping up against somebody 6'11", so I'm like, all right, if I could just get the tip, we good. I get the tip somehow. And before you know it, that first shot went in from my boy Darnell. And after that, we ended up being up 15-2. A timeout comes from Izzo. And then they never led in the game. I think the closest they came was like within 2 or 1 or something like that. But every time they made a shot, it seemed like we made another shot, another huge shot to kind of keep that space between us and them.
Yeah. So talk about that dunk, man, that sealed the deal.
If you go back and watch that play, everybody on the team touched the ball. From the guy who stole it, Quan. So he stole the ball. Boom. Then he kicks it up to Giddy No, I'm sorry. Quan deflects the ball. Giddy gets the steal. Giddy is getting trapped by 2 guys, so he passes it to Perrin at half court, or a little bit before half court. Somebody's cutting Perrin off. So he catches it and throws it to who ends up throwing me the ball, Darnell, at like half court. Darnell takes a couple of steps, and then I'm thinking he's throwing a lob, because I'm not necessarily a 2-foot jumper at all. So I need momentum to get going. So he takes those 2 dribbles. He sees me, and I start to go like this, but the ball's already in the air. So I just go ahead, catch it, and then once I catch it, the only thing in my mind is I have to score.
Yeah.
What's the easiest way to score when you're 6'7", 6'8"? Dunk the ball.
Yeah.
And so I just snuck it in, and I told my brother beforehand, like, shoot, if I dunk it in any kind of way, I'm going to hang on that rim. It don't matter if it's like a rim grazing dunk or whatever it is, I'm going to hang on the rim. And it's going to be a dope picture coming from that dunk. And so like when I ended up dunking it and I'm hanging off the rim and I'm sitting there with my legs up, I'm sticking my tongue out, but like the whole time I'm not looking at anybody that's on the court. My brother and my dad were up in the stands, but I could see them from hanging on the rim. So like I'm sticking my tongue out and I'm sticking my tongue out at my brother. And so
that's wild right there.
Yeah.
That's a moment.
It's a moment, man. It's a moment that, I mean, it's one that's never gonna be forgotten, especially by me, but for sure by like MTSU and everybody that has anything to do with MTSU.
And before we started filming, bro, you were talking about the picture that they got of that, right?
Oh yeah, going up, like, if you're familiar with the Murphy Center, like we got 4 ramps that lead to the court, and on like the one that everybody sees, the main ramp, it's a picture of that dunk. Just every day you go to practice, you see it.
That's crazy,
man. You see the dunk, you see the history.
Would you say that was the biggest like moment of your college career?
Without a doubt. At least I like to think so. I mean,
that's legendary.
I think it's the biggest moment in MTSU history up until now.
What was the time left in the game and all that?
But there was like, I think it might have been under a minute.
Yeah.
And so like that, everybody always says when you're trying to pull an upset off in the tournament, you just gotta keep the game close. You know, because like America wants to see upsets. Fact. They want to see the underdog kind of show that they belong. So we had 2 GAs on that team who were a part of that 2013 first round team. And so I was talking to them the whole time, like, hey, how did y'all feel when y'all were playing? And then like, how did y'all go about that game? And they were like, hey, look, y'all gonna be all right as long as y'all keep the game close until that 8-minute mark in the second half. If you can keep it close to the 8-minute mark, the crowd will start turning. And once the crowd turns, you got all the momentum. And so we kept it close. We made the right plays, and then out of nowhere, it was like a storybook ending. Yeah. You know, like how many times does a kid that's from Tennessee and literally an hour down the road is our hometown, how many times does a kid like that get to cap off one of the greatest upsets in NCAA history, basically for like not for his hometown team, but like for one of the teams in his state, you know? Like, it's something that I don't think anybody could have scripted it any better, honestly.
Nah, man, that's crazy, bro. Like just thinking about how you like walked through it, like talked us through it, you could just visualize the whole thing happening.
Yeah, and honestly, I probably done missed a couple of details, like, to be honest. Like, it's one of them things where, like, man, you just get lucky sometimes. Like, you get lucky to be where you are, whether that be, I don't know, overseas, G League, NBA, college. Like, everybody's gonna get a chance to shine at some point. If you put the work in, I feel like everybody gets a chance to shine. Yeah. Wherever that is, I don't know, but.
What'd you end up with that game against Michigan State?
21. I want to say I finished with like 21-4. I don't know, for some reason I wasn't rebounding that game, but like on the season I averaged like 7 rebounds, 8 rebounds, but
21-4, man.
I feel like I had like 3 or 4 rebounds.
So in your mind after that game, I mean, obviously y'all go on to lose the next game, but after that game, so that's your junior year, are you thinking league now? Like, do you have a little buzz around your name?
There was definitely buzz. And like in my head, I'm like, all right, yeah. Senior year, I'm going for everything that I'm supposed to get, which is, I really want to be player of the year. I really want to, you know, be first team. I really want to low-key be All-American. I want my team to be ranked. I want everything. And so leading into that last year, and I'm knowing what we got coming in. Yeah. You know, we lost some very talented guys, but then we're bringing in another big that's literally exactly like me, except more athletic. You feel me? So it's like, once we got going, we had 3 guys. Come on, Reggie.
Were y'all ranked preseason?
We weren't ranked preseason, but we ended up, like, towards the end of the year, I think we cracked top 25, like the last 3 weeks of the season or something like that. And so you know, that we got all these new guys coming in, and so the style of player I am, I can do a little bit of everything. And so, you know, we had 3 guys on my senior year season who averaged more than 15 points.
Dang.
We were only one of 3 colleges, no matter what level, to have that.
That's tough.
And so there was a lot. It was a lot of moving parts my senior year, but we made it work. We only lost 4 games the whole year, or 5 games, and one of them being to go to the Sweet 16. So you can't really be mad about a season like that either.
So did y'all win the conference that year?
We won everything. We won every tournament we went to, like in the middle of the season. We won the conference easily. Like we beat teams like, I think we played Marshall in the semifinals. We beat them by like 20.
Dang.
Like, I forgot who we played in the finals, but clearly, I mean, it just wasn't that memorable of a game to. Yeah, I mean that in the most respectful way though. Like
if y'all running through them like
we
that.
were running through everything, so it was like, it didn't matter who was playing in front of us, or like, you know, it didn't matter who we were matched up against because we knew what we was about to do.
Yeah.
And everybody else knew it too.
Yeah. So y'all was probably like that. That's gotta be a good feeling, you know, senior year of college. Y'all just beating everybody.
I'm talking about dog walking though.
Yeah.
Like we beat Vandy. Vandy came and played us at MT. We beat them by 35. We went to Ole Miss. We were up 30 at halftime. We ended up winning by like 20.
Y'all beating SEC schools.
We're dog walking everybody.
Dang.
Literally everybody. We got, like, it was to the point no one wanted to play us.
Facts.
Like, you know, like if you're a mid-major, some teams will pay you to come play.
Yeah.
We couldn't get Tennessee we couldn't get nobody. Like
nobody
wanted
to lose.
Because to them it's a bad loss, but for us it's a great win. And we know we were gonna win. I mean, was that 3?
Yeah, now you got the blue right there.
So
what accolades did you get that season?
I got, I think I got all defensive team. I got second team all conference. But again, we had the nation's best 3-point shooter. And then we had another guy who's still playing now, like professionally. But he came in and he was player of the year. So like, we won every accolade too. We had coach of the year, player of the year, defensive player. Like we had, MT was just like, when I was there, we were the gold standard of Conference USA. And so, you feel me? It was.
So going into that tournament game, or selection, let's go selection Sunday. Y'all are waiting to see what seed you are. What seed did y'all get that year?
We ended up getting a 12 seed.
Yeah, do you think you should have been higher?
For sure. I think we should have been like an 8-9.
Yeah, because I mean, 5 losses, or was it 4 at that point?
4 losses going into it.
4 losses, beating, you know, Ole Miss, Vandy.
But I think honestly, if we would have never lost that, like we lost 1 conference game the whole year, and we lost it like right in the middle between, like, you know, you win 10, then you lose 1, then you win 10 more. And I think that loss is what kept us from being a higher seed, because we really should not have ever lost to that team. We lost to UTEP. And not that they had a bad team, but we were just supposed to be so good that you're not supposed to lose to a team like that.
Yeah.
And so that I think that's what kind of stopped us from being a 8 or a 9 seed. But at the same time, when you think about the tournament, the 1 seed that has more upsets than any other is the 12 and the 5. And so when we saw we were 12, we're like, oh.
And coming off what y'all did
Yeah,
last
and we
year.
came off what we did last year, so it was like, okay, we're definitely not tripping now.
So y'all get matched up with Minnesota.
Matched up with Minnesota, and we knew from the beginning, like, all right, another Big Ten school. You know, they gotta have the same kind of style as Michigan State in terms of like how they play. They had the nation's leading shot blocker. They had another guard that could go named Nate Mason. I think he's playing in like China or something right now, but I'm telling you, man, it didn't matter who we were playing against that day, y'all weren't gonna win. The only way that y'all could have, or like anybody could have beat us, was to play like us.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's what we ran into when we lost to Butler. We just ran into a better, like a more disciplined us. You feel me? Like they were just like robots. They.
How far did they make it that year?
They lost the next game to UNC. That's what I'm saying. it was a story. It was another storybook opportunity, at least for Middle Tennessee, because like the Sweet 16, we played in Milwaukee, but once you finish those first 2 games before the Sweet 16, you come back home. So we would have came back to Murfreesboro, and the Sweet 16 game was going to be in Memphis, and half of MTSU is from Memphis.
Yeah.
And so now we're like, oh, all we gotta do is get past. Yeah, all we gotta do is get past. We gotta get past Butler, and everything gonna be all right. But we ended up losing, and we never got that chance.
So finished out your season, as I said in the intro, top 5 in a lot of categories, and then the all-time winningest player. Most wins all time for a player playing 4 years there. Because I was looking at the record, man. You had a conference record was crazy, total wins, all that. I mean, all your little accolades were nuts, man.
Yeah.
Like playing 4 years, because you got to actually play, not be on the team 4 years. You got to play to get top 5 in the stuff that you were in.
Yeah. I mean.
So what was the coming out of your senior year? Do you have any NBA teams looking at you? Walk us through that.
Yeah. So, once my season was over, now I'm starting to try to think about draft, because like if I was to get drafted, it was definitely going to be late 2nd round. And so I ended up being a Reese's All-Star. So I was a college All-Star. So I played that game while they're out in the Final Four or whatever. Did that.
Oh, where they had the dunk contest and all that?
Yeah. So I played in like the All-Star part of that, which it was a couple guys that was in the L, or who ended up going to the L from that. And I played in something called the Portsmouth Invitational, which is all for seniors, but it's like
Virginia.
a big combine, right? Yeah, so I did that. And from there, I knew if I got in front of people, I could get some workouts because of how I play.
You're on that back spot.
Oh, I'm tripping.
You good? I think you're 0 for 1 from right there.
Man, there's one right there. Dang. You know what it was? When I was warming up, I didn't take no shots from right there. That's
Me
what
neither.
it is.
So you do the
I do the PIT.
Yeah.
I kill it out there. I average a double-double while I'm there. And that's in front of pretty much
everybody.
Every NBA team is out there watching.
Yeah, and overseas scouts. That's where you go.
Everybody is there to watch everything. And so I perform well there. Next thing you know, it's time to start doing like the real NBA draft workouts. So I think my first one was with the Bucks. And I did well in it, honestly. Like I was nervous as all get out because, it's the Bucks and it's the NBA. You're chasing your dream. I had never really been in that type of a spotlight before. And so I did well. They ended up offering me like a little summer league joint there.
Uh-huh.
And so after I finished all my workouts, I signed on with them to be in summer league. I ended up starting the first couple games in summer league too, because it was like some trade stuff that went on where the guy that was actually supposed to play the 3 for Milwaukee Summer League was still having to be like medically checked out and stuff. So my first 2 games, I started there. But then once he got cleared, it was more of like, okay, I got to just wait my turn, which ultimately I think it kind of worked out for the best because, I don't like that spot. But it worked out for the best because I knew like, okay, rookie year, I'm definitely not ready for the L. Definitely not ready. I need to go hoop more. Honestly, I need to play against pros. I need to learn my game better because all in at MTSU, I was the guy, but I wasn't like, I did everything. But when you get to the L, you got to find one thing that you're really, really, really good at and focus on that. And so.
What was that one thing you thought after the summer league? What was that one thing?
I just had to be better. Like I had to be a better shooter. I had to learn how to shoot. I had to learn when to take the right shots.
Like that?
Like that one. You feel me? Like, if you can do that, you can play anywhere. But I had to learn that for myself before I could just say, all right, I'm ready to get active. And so I went over to Germany my rookie year, averaged like 15 and 8 on a terrible team. But I went back my second year to summer league with the Clippers, and that honestly, I thought I was gonna make the team. And I'm not exaggerating at all.
So you had a good summer league?
I didn't have a good one. I had an amazing one.
Amazing.
Like
All right, let's talk about it.
I averaged like 11 and 8 as a guy who's not really supposed to be on there. You know, like summer league isn't the league, but it's a good picture of what you could possibly do given an opportunity, right? And so with my opportunity, I'm out there playing with Shea, like all those guys who had just got drafted. And so averaging 11 and 8, I'm thinking, okay, I showed that I can rebound, I showed I can knock down some shots. What more could you really be looking for? And ultimately, it just kind of came down to, there we go. Ultimately, it came down to just one guy had a player option, and he optioned in. And so there was no spot for me to really be able to come in. But if that one guy wouldn't take that player option, it was going to be my chance.
So after that happened, back overseas?
Yeah, so after that, I went to Spain.
Does that raise your stock though? Like
sure.
Like how good of a summer league you had?
Absolutely.
So you got the same agent?
I had the same agent, everything.
So now you're getting bigger offers.
Way bigger offer. I went from like the worst team in Germany. We won one game my rookie year. One game. We went 1-33.
And you're used to winning too.
You feel me? So like the whole season, I got depressed. I was just annoyed every day waking up. Didn't want to go to the gym. Didn't respect anybody that was trying to tell me what to do there because it's like we're losing. And it's not because of me, but it is because I'm on the court. But like, respectfully, I'm doing all I can do as a rookie. Y'all got to bring in some help. I'm averaging 15 and 8. Like, what else you want me to do? And so, like, in the middle of the season, we're terrible. I'm trying to leave. I'm getting my agent, hey, we need to go. I need to get up out of here. But it just never worked out. There was no buyout in my contract. And so, like, once they were like, yeah, no, it ain't happening, I just was pissed off every day.
Dang. So your overseas stock raises because of your, great summer league, and then you go to Spain. What tier league were you in over there?
I was in the ACB. So I was in the top league. Everybody says that outside of the NBA, Spain has the best domestic league. And so I was there. We played in Euro Cup, went to the Euro Cup Final Four, lost to Berlin. But it was an experience while I was out there, man. I had to learn a whole different role. You gotta think, I'm coming from playing 40 minutes a game, averaging 15 and 8. And now I'm on a team where it's more like an NBA setting. So you're not gonna play every night, and you're not gonna start.
What do you mean you're not playing like you're not even getting in some games?
Bro, there was one game we played against a team from Italy, and I had 30. Great night. I was shooting the piss out the ball, dunking. I was doing everything. We played 2 nights later against a EuroLeague team in Spain. I played 3 minutes. So I'm sitting there looking like, how do you go from having 30 to not getting on the court for real? And it's like you're playing the same exact way. And so that's when I started to find out, like, okay, it has nothing to do with me. It's just how it is sometimes. Like, you're just not gonna play. You might play, but whenever it is, you gotta be ready.
So you didn't start no games that year?
I started some games, but like I wasn't used to not starting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You feel me? So I was just in my head. I probably could have played better while I was there, but I also, like, I was the youngest person on the team still.
How old were you at this point?
22. 22 in my second year. Like, I'm young for my grade, so it was just like, it was all the experience, man. Like, it was the best, worst experience I could have ever asked for. But
so let's fast forward a couple of years, unless there's like some overseas stuff you want to talk more about, like teams. If not, we could jump into that last year.
No, there is some crazy stuff that happened in between all of that.
Okay.
That I've never really, I mean, like, the people close to me know, but.
Where are you at? Is this in Spain?
It starts after Spain. So after Spain, I go to Italy. While I'm in Italy, it's a 3-year span, okay? You got to keep all this in mind. It's a 3-year span of things that go crazy. in Italy. Start the season, everything's cool, calm.
This is year 3?
Year 3.
Okay.
In Italy, everything's, you gotta get the layup.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's cool, calm, and copacetic, right? Wrong. COVID takes over, and besides China, northern Italy was the hardest affected region. I was in northern Italy. And so I'm hearing all this stuff on TV from, you know, the president at the time. He's sitting there saying like, hey, anybody that's overseas, we shutting the borders down, so y'all need to go ahead and come back. So I catch a flight. I leave my house in Italy 11:30 at night. I'm driving down the street. It's only me on the road, because it's like a crime in Italy to be on the road like 200 feet away from your house or something. Like, you're only allowed to kind of walk in your little area at the time, because nobody knew what COVID was. And so, you know, I called my mom. I'm like, hey, look, I'm about to leave. You know, come pick me up from Atlanta in a day or whatever it was. So middle of the night, I'm leaving, driving down the street in Italy. I park at a random train station. I take the train from my city, which is like an hour and a half from Milan. So I take it from my city to Milan, jump on the airplane. I'm the only person on the flight, like me and the flight attendants. That's it, maybe 2 other people. And I lay over in Paris for 18 hours, and I don't want to leave the airport because it's COVID, and it's like brand new, so no one knows what's going on. So I don't leave the airport for 18 hours. And I leave from Paris, boom, hit down in Atlanta. As soon as I land in Atlanta, my phone's blowing up from like my team, because like, as much as they said everything was going to be safe and they were going to take care of us, they also never were like communicating and telling us things. So then that's when I decided to leave. It was like when I heard nothing was going on. And so I ended up making it back to Atlanta. My phone goes crazy. I get all these updates where it says like, if Upshaw's not back in Italy in the next 24 hours, then he's fired, and just a bunch of crazy stuff. So then I gotta like fight with my agent is fighting with the team to like make them understand like there's not gonna be a season. So eventually it got worked out, and I ended up getting paid all my money and everything, and like they were all cool about it, but it was a hectic time, man. And then the following season, I go to Israel, and like halfway through the season, there's a war between Israel and Gaza. So then I'm stuck. I'm stuck in Israel, and this is like with rockets and everything is just being like blown up in the sky. So like, this is real deal war zone.
You can like hear him and see him?
I got a video on my phone I'll show you after this, where it's like a bus gets blown up 200, like not even a block away. And so that was the second like craziness, like crazy year. That was a tough shot, I ain't gonna lie. That was the second crazy part. And then after I leave from Israel, I go to Ukraine. And this is right when like all that crazy stuff starts happening with Russia. And so like in the span of 3 years, I was in COVID and then 2 wars back to back.
The worst possible place besides China you could have been in, COVID. And then Israel in a war zone, then another war in Ukraine.
Boom. So in 7 years, I was a part of 3 like major world events.
History.
I was a part of history 3 times in a row.
Sure. Dang.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro.
Oh, I was about to say.
Am I still at this top spot?
Yeah.
Well, I need one more?
Yeah, you just need one more right there.
Oh, tripping.
So let's fast forward to after your crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I saw all the countries when I was doing my research, and I was like, man, I gotta ask them about some of this, but I didn't even have to ask because
you feel me? Like,
that's crazy right there. So like, and a lot of young guys listen to this, playing in those kind of countries. You never know what's gonna happen. Especially like Israel, Ukraine, anywhere in the Middle East.
You don't, man. You just gotta. As much as it might sound crazy, listen to the news. Like, watch the news, inform yourself about wherever you're at. Cause like, you can only be so safe in a foreign country. Like, you don't speak the language. You can't read none of the signs for real.
Especially as an American, man.
most of the times if you go end up in a small city, no one speaks English around you. And so the only thing you can do is kind of watch and inform yourself as best you can about what's going on politically.
Yeah. Dang.
There we go.
So you got finish up your career in Belgium, correct?
Yeah, finished it up. That was my last
top
season.
league?
Top league in Belgium. We played Europe, like we played in the Belgian league as well as like European competition. So we were traveling to Turkey and all these other random places to play. And that was it. After that, man, we won a mid-season cup while I was there. But ultimately that ended up, I didn't know it at the time, but that was gonna be my last season, unfortunately.
So what made you decide to retire?
Man, so I was working out all summer last summer, because in my mind, I'm going back. I'm about to go hoop somewhere. And like randomly, man, I don't know if I fainted, passed out, what, but I woke up in the hospital, hooked up to everything, and apparently like I have a heart murmur, which essentially is like a little small hole in your heart or something. And so like, you know, if you wake up and you're in the hospital, you didn't go there on your own, you got to start thinking like, all right, do I want to keep playing and potentially like end up like, you know, like Bronny James or somebody who, what if I'm not as lucky as him with the medical stuff and the staff that's around him?
DJ Bowles?
You feel me? Like, and that's one that's from the city. So I didn't want to be like that. And so
where were you at when all this happened?
Say what? I was in Nashville.
Nashville?
In Nashville chilling. And so like, once I realized that part, I was like, all right, I talked to my family. They all kind of supported me retiring. They understood how scary it was. And from there, it was a wrap.
So that was 2023?
Yep, 2023.
So after you know, the whole hospital stay, like what did they tell you pretty much?
They're like, I can continue to play, but it's not, you never know what's going to happen.
Like they couldn't guarantee.
They can't guarantee, yeah,
well,
you can't guarantee it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I mean, I love basketball, but I definitely love being like just living way more than I love basketball. Like I don't need basketball to continue to be happy.
Yeah. I mean, being alive's fairly important.
You feel me? So like it was hard. Like obviously it's always hard because all my friends, every relationship that I've kind of made is from basketball, you know? So
you kind of got to find yourself a little bit.
It was hard too, man. All last year. You ask my friends, like everybody that I hang out with on the daily up here, I was a different person. And it wasn't like I was being like a terrible person. I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
Because for 20 plus years, all I'd ever known was sports, basketball, football. But like, especially them last couple years, it was just, I'm a basketball player. It's what I do.
Yep. And that's one thing that, you know, I struggle with that as well. And one thing I'm trying to preach, you know, the message on the podcast to these young guys is, man, basketball is what you do. It's not who you are.
Right.
You have to keep those separate as hard as it is, especially when you're young. You don't think about stuff like that.
At all. Like you think you can play forever.
Yeah. But in the same sense though, basketball is just what you do. It's not your identity. It's not who you are as a person. There's other things outside of basketball, you know, relationships. You know, it's essentially just a hobby that you could be really good at and get paid to do.
Hell yeah.
So that's dope that, you know, I mean, tough way to figure out, you know, find who you are under those circumstances. So what did you learn? Like what did you learn going through that, being a basketball player? Did you apply any things that you learned from basketball to figure out like, all right, what's my next step in life? What am I going to go do? And then kind of after you talk about that, walk us through what you ended up doing next.
Man, so I've always heard like people on podcasts like Gilbert Arenas and, you know, those guys who kind of recently retired. Not Gil, but like Nick Young.
Lou Williams.
Like, you know, I've heard these guys and they're like, man, retirement is rough. Like, I don't know what to do with my days. Like I heard I can't remember who it was, but he was like, I just would go drive and sit in traffic because I didn't have anything else to do. And I was like, oh, hell, I'm not trying to be like that.
Sitting in traffic for fun is crazy.
You feel me? Like, he was like, I didn't know what to do because it's like, I have everything I wanted to buy. I don't need anything, so like, I just need to be busy. And so I reached out to my old coach. Dang, it's a bad miss. But I reached out to my old coach, asked him like, hey, can you give me some pointers on what I should do in terms of like coaching? Cause like, I feel like if you play basketball in any kind of way, eventually you're gonna think like, oh, I could be a coach too. So I reached out to him. He was like, yeah, just go up and talk to MTSU. Like, there might not be a spot for you, but also you never know what could happen. That's tough.
Man, in and out.
He was like, you never know what could happen. So just go up there and talk to him. So I went up and talked to him.
Because your coach at this point was already at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So there was a new coaching staff.
New coaching staff. So it was going to be kind of hard for me to just get in with him. You feel me?
But you know, your face being on the wall kind of helped.
That definitely helps. I'm not going to lie to you. That helped. And so I get over to MT, talk to him, and they're like, hey, man, shoot. We'd love for you to be around. We can't pay you anything. Honestly, like, we're not going to lie to you right up front. Like, if you came, it would be like you want to be here. Like, it's a volunteer role. You'll be a coach, but it's a volunteer role. And so I was like, you know what? I'll take it. So I took it all last season.
No stipend, no nothing, no meal plan, nothing?
Nathan. Which is fine. Like, you know, I just watched a podcast with Terry Crews where he got paid like $2,000 for his first movie, which back then, like, you hear the name Terry Crews and you're like, dang, he should have at least got, I don't know, a couple $100,000, you know, because it's Terry Crews. But he said, like, sometimes you got to take what you don't want in order to get what you've been wanting. At least that's how I think. So I took a free role and turned it into a coaching job, like a real paid position at MTSU now. So
you did 1 year for the volunteer type stuff.
I did one volunteer year, and then I'm still back on staff there now as a player development coach.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
So by you taking that chance,
take the chance and you get rewarded most of the time.
So you were straight because of your overseas, you managed your money correctly.
Yeah, for sure. Like, in terms of money, like, don't get me wrong, I didn't have $1 million to just chill with, but I had enough to where I could take a year and do nothing.
To take that chance.
To take that chance and make it all work for myself. And thank God that's what happened.
Yeah. All right, let's go back real quick because, you know, everybody hears about the NBA guys, NFL guys, 5 years in the league, broke, you know, after they retire.
Yeah.
What did you do? Did you have a financial advisor? Did your parents help you? Like, did you have an idea of like, man, I can't just blow all this money because it ain't forever?
Man, I think honestly, I just was raised to where I never had really been a guy to just splurge and just blow a lot of money anyway. You feel me? Like, I like nice things. I like what I like, but I'm also not just gonna go out here and try to provide an image of something that I'm not. So I'm not buying, you know, a trillion pairs of shoes and just spending on crazy, like, random things. You feel me? I'm not doing none of that. You know, I take care of I'll have a good time. We go out, I'll definitely take care of everything. But in terms of everything else, I had an agent who put me on with a financial guy, a financial advisor. I just started sending money to him each month. He'll put it away. He'll do different things with it. And by the time I got ready to retire, I had a nice nest egg that was, you know, suitable to kind of pay for my lifestyle.
Yeah, great head start to, you know, beginning
Absolutely.
Your career not as a basketball player.
Yeah, because most of the time, if you try to get into coaching, you got to start as a GA.
Yeah.
Or something. And I kind of fortunately, I got to skip that step and just be a coach immediately.
So player development coach, right?
Player development.
Real quick before we talk about that, this is for game right here, ladies and gents.
I got an air ball.
See if the old man can hit it.
I got an air ball.
I feel like J.J. Redick, the old man in 3. Oh, let me see. It's a little windy. We got a little east to west wind. I call nothing but net. Nothing but rim. Oh! All right, so player development coach. So what's your role? Obviously, kind of self-explanatory, but what's your role like on a day-to-day basis working with the players?
So my role is to get them ready for practice most of the time. Like, we got some guys who like to come in and get up extra shots before practice, so I'll take them through a small workout. Nothing crazy because obviously they got practice. Last season, it was mostly just working with a red shirt guy, though, because, you know, as a red shirt, you're not playing, so you need to be on the court working out and everything. So I worked that guy out a good bit last year. Hopefully he's going to do some big things for us this season, but my role really is honestly like more of like, it kind of sounds kind of corny, but like I'm the cool coach to them.
The big brother.
The big brother. Like I had done everything that they want to do. And so like, you know, they listen. They'll listen, they'll ask me questions, they want to know. So I'm going to give them the knowledge if they want it.
Yeah, and they probably have a different respect for you than they do the coach. You're closer in age.
Yeah, for sure.
You've done everything. You're not necessarily coaching them, so you can be cool with them.
And they all know that I did that for free last season. So they're like, oh, he actually cares about what we do he actually cares about us and our future instead of like, oh, I'm just getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
Now,
that's
granted,
dope, man.
Getting paid is great, but
and you did everything they wanted to do at MTSU. You went overseas, like they're gonna respect you regardless. And you can, you know, like you were saying, you could tell us about that.
And
I
still be playing them one-on-one. I'll be busting their ass.
Yeah, after that loss, you were like, man, I play all y'all one-on-one.
You feel me? So I played a couple of them one-on-one. Right now I'm undefeated, but I got a target on my back now. Like, I talk too much trash to them, so they be wanting to play before practice all the time, but I be making excuses. I'm old now. Gotta make some excuses.
You ain't old, man. I'm old. You ain't old, bro.
I'm knocking on 30 now, bro. Hey, come on, get in there. There we go. This game right here.
Oh, you did hit that one. Dang. Look, I might have talked too early. Let's see what we got.
We got GG's.
GG's.
That's what the young kids say. GG's.
That's what they say.
Right?
Good game.
Come on, man.
I'm right here. Wide receiver Wells.
Get that one out the net.
Oh,
damn. That looked good.
Sir.
That looked good.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is a close competition in the for the first one. Like
good.
It literally. I started off rough. I started off bad, and then I started hitting. Ball game. Oh my Lord! Are you serious, bro? What?
You done messed up too. You don't know why? We had MT.
Huh?
We had MT, man.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even tell them that.
You done messed up.
We're filming this at MTSU. We're gonna film it in front of the Murphy Center, but graduation, so we're just in some random parking lot.
It's okay.
Home
even
court.
This random parking lot is home for me.
Home court.
There it is.
There it
GG's.
is. Ah!
GG's.
GG.
Hate I had to do it on the Hoop Truck podcast.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm kind of mad. I'm kind of mad, man. That's dope.
Appreciate it,
man.
bro.
All right, so let's get into, now we can get into the nitty gritty, bro. The part that everybody fears the most. Get you a little warm up for the big question. So top 5 NBA players all time. You don't have to order them, or you can order, put them in order 1 through 5.
Bron, number 1. Anybody who says different, hating. And that's the only reason.
All right.
Bron, number 1. You go Jordan, number 2. The only reason Kobe's not going to make my top 5 is because he is basically Jordan.
Okay.
And I like to have a little bit of everything in my top 5.
Well, no, it's not starting 5. But if you want to have,
top 5, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I see what you're saying. You don't want to have 2 shooting guards.
Yeah, like
I got you. That makes sense. That makes sense.
All right, who we got? We got Bron, Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go KD. If you leave KD out, he's in my top 5. He's the greatest scorer. He just cemented himself as the best Olympic scorer and whatever rebound or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's beating that.
KD. I got Shaq Diesel at 5. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's 4.
That's 4.
Yeah, because you say Kobe ain't in there.
Dang. So who else? Who else would I put? I mean, I guess you do got to put Bean in there then. All right, I'll put Bean at 5.
All right, that's solid though. We've had a couple of KDs, and that's
I think that's more of a new generation type thing though.
Man, EJ said KD.
Really?
Yeah, he's my age.
But you got to think though, I mean,
he's the best scorer ever,
doing it like that.
I mean, hey, my top 5 varies a little. It's a little different. You had 3 or 4. I think we only had one differential in
Who'd
there.
you got? Who you got?
I got Jordan 1, LeBron 2. No, Kobe 2, LeBron 3, Shaq, and then I got the Chef 5.
Wow. I ain't gonna lie, that 36 piece he put up the other day.
Hey, look, Mo texted me afterwards. He said, bro, I ain't gonna lie, Curry's top 5. Because when we did the podcast with him, he was like, you know, he didn't put Curry in there. He asked me my top 5. He was like, Curry, nah. So after that game, he texted me. He said, did you see what he just did? Curry's top 5,
You might have to put Curry. I don't know. Top
Change
5.
the game, bro. Change the game. Nobody is gonna beat that 3-point record.
He don't even hold it his own. Oh, you talking about like the NBA one?
Yeah,
Oh,
ain't nobody beating that.
I don't know, bro.
Ain't no way.
Basketball changes every 10 years.
Ain't no way. That is the greatest shooter to ever walk this earth.
Basketball changes every decade.
So you think somebody's gonna come along and be able to shoot better than him?
Somebody gonna come break Bron record eventually.
We might not be living for either one of those.
We might not see it, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah, the Bron records, I think that's gonna be even harder to beat.
We're gonna be half cyborg by the time that shit get broke.
Yeah. All right, so the top 5, you got that. All right, we're gonna go 2 more questions before we get into the Chattanooga top 5, man. Let you think a little more on that. If you can only hoop in one shoe for the rest of your playing career, even though you're not, you know, you're just hooping. Like if you can only hoop in one shoe forever.
Man,
what
don't
shoe
do
would it
that.
be?
Don't do that. Okay. Wow. I ain't gonna lie. This is a hot take. It's not really that hot of a take. I'm gonna go Jordan, Space Jam 11.
Hooping in them.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I did hoop in them.
At NT?
Michigan State game.
The colorway.
No, not Michigan State game.
Okay.
Minnesota game.
Minnesota, okay.
So
Jordan 11's hooping in them.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
I can't argue with
what
that.
What you putting on?
I'm going, man, you know I'm old, bro. I'm going those Hirachis.
I knew it.
Yeah. That's what I hooped in high school, bro. I scored a lot of points in the things, man. That's still to this day, man. Probably the best shoe I done hooped in. I had the black on black with the patent leather toe. Yeah, that's what we hooped in at East Ridge. Tough. Yeah, they were tough, man. I had 2 pair of them things. So yeah, that's mine for sure. All right. Favorite retro Jordan with the colorway.
Dang. It's hard to go against a Bred 11, but it's also hard to go against. It's hard to go against just a Bred 1. A classic 1, like it don't matter the colorway with a 1. They all look good.
And we got colorway too, though, so you got to keep that in mind. People don't be thinking about this, man.
All right. I'm gonna go with another hot take. The Olympic 7s. Right? Come on.
Oh.
Come on. Shout out to the Olympics.
Man, the Olympic 7s, bro.
The Olympic
tough
7s.
Shoe with the gold in it, man. Just a little bit of touch of gold. The 9 on the back was crazy.
Come on.
The details. That's a detailed shoe. I love that shoe. All right, man. So, top 5 Chattanooga players. You could do who you saw play. That way, the people that were before you.
Yeah. I'm not going to disrespect anybody that was before me because there is a ton of basketball history that none of us really remember or were even alive for.
Exactly.
But in my time, dang. I really want to put your whole class as like their own class. I'm not going to lie to you because like growing up, you always heard like Alex Wells, Big Phil. Like you heard about these guys and it was almost like a myth or a legend. Like these guys going out putting up 30. You know what I mean? Like they were doing, y'all were doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so like I'm 7 years younger than y'all, so I'm sitting there watching like, dang, one day I'm gonna be able to dunk. One day I'm gonna be able to shoot. One day I'm gonna do all this. So like y'all's class really kind of put it in my head of like, hey, let me go hoop. But in terms of like top 5, Nick Ross, without a doubt. He was probably the coldest player ever, bro. I wish the whole world could have seen. I wish that the internet was jumping now. I mean, back then like it is now.
You played against him, right?
With him and against him.
So at Baylor, what was the differential in y'all's years when you were at Baylor?
I want to say like 2 years.
He was 2 years older?
Yeah. So like if I'm in 6th grade, he's in 8th.
Yeah. I watched that game at Baylor, Red Bank, and I was like, I knew of him,
That's what I'm saying. You
But he
know
was
of it,
pulling
but
that
then when
thing
you play
from
against him,
deep.
it's like, dang.
He was doing what he wanted.
And you can't do nothing about it. And you know exactly what he's gonna do. You know he's gonna come across half court. And then from there, it's just whatever. It's like a picnic. He's gonna pick from here. He's gonna pick from there.
He was crazy.
And he's gonna enjoy himself either way he goes.
Crazy in high school.
So I got a Nick on mine. I'm gonna put DJ. We were talking about him earlier. DJ Bowles.
He went to Cleveland, and
one
people
of the
really
toughest point guards
stopped.
ever.
Like Chat really didn't, once he went up there to Cleveland, but he was man. And tell him what we was talking about earlier, because people don't know this, man. Where did he sign out of high school?
He signed out of high school. He's going to Wichita, and this was when Wichita had Fred and Ron Baker and all those guys. So it's like they went to the Elite Eight or Final Four or something. So
DJ was legit.
If you go to a school that just came from the Elite Eight, you have to be legit.
Yeah.
And so I'm putting DJ on mine. Like if I'm going to run 5, I'm gonna pick Nick Ross, myself, DJ. Brandon Walters. Woo! And I played with Big B at MT, so I already know how he gets down too. So I'm picking Big B.
This day.
And then there's one more spot. I don't know. Ooh, it's crazy if you don't say it. Ace. Ace Bailey, come on, what are we doing? Why did I do that to him?
That's what Trey said. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Why did I do that?
You just forgot about him.
He's just so young. It's
because he went down to McKeitron,
You feel me? But
beast.
Shit, 1 of 1.
Lottery pick next year.
Hopefully number 1. I mean, they got that Cooper Flag guy, but
hey, it don't matter, man.
I know Ace can give him something.
Yeah, man, he's gonna be crazy.
But yeah, I think that's a solid top 5. Myself, I'm gonna put myself in it just cause though. Like ain't nobody better than me.
There you go.
But yeah, no, that's a solid. I think that's a solid. That's
definitely a solid top 5, but a very, very good starting 5 for sure.
What you
like
got?
For your time, huh?
What's your top 5?
You can't ask me. It's my podcast.
Oh, you right. We'll ask that off the camera. We'll ask that off the camera.
But I'll tell you my GOAT until Ace does what he does in his career, because he's gonna surpass, man. Lightfoot, man, the GOAT. The GOAT.
It has to be. I mean, like you said earlier, 2,000 points in 3 years is insane.
Yeah, 26 and 18 in high school, playing against Brainerd when they were Brainerd. When all them jerseys you see hanging from Raptors were on like the same team, like those same years. And Lightfoot did it for a long time, man. After he retired, he came back,
right?
Played in all the leagues. Yeah, 13 years overseas, played in all the leagues after that. I played in a TVA league with him. We was on the same team.
And he probably still was getting
we had no business being on the same team. I'm like 23 at the time, so I'm in my prime. And dude, I'm telling you, man, there was one game he dropped like 50. Like easy too, crossing half court. But some people know this, he could shoot left-handed too.
I didn't know that.
So he was coming down right-handed, shooting. Next play, come down left-hand. I promise you.
Man.
I'm not making this up. And we're playing in a men's league. Like, it's serious. We're trying to win.
Man, green bean.
You see that, Al? I'm like, man, I see it, Foot. I see it.
No, but yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of without a doubt that he's the number. Like he's the Jordan of the Chattanooga area.
Yeah, for sure, man. Until Ace, because he even said it, bro. And
Yeah, now we got he'll be Jordan forever, but now we got a young Bron or a young KD that's about to
unicorn, man. KD for sure. Paul George type. Like that's like the type of game he's got.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I hope this is what, freshman year right now.
Yep. They got a squad
it's all
too.
in front of him.
They got a squad.
It's all in front of him. He got every chance. He's got every opportunity to do exactly what he's supposed to do, and he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's exciting.
So last question, man. If you could recommend somebody coming on the podcast or somebody you'd want to see on the podcast, who would it be? But you got to help us get them on the podcast.
Ooh. And like, we talking hoopers or just in
hoopers.
General?
Yeah, hoopers. Don't have to be from Chattanooga. It could be any hooper, like, But you gotta,
I gotta help
work the magic, man.
Honestly, Brandon, I want Brandon Walters on this show.
Facts.
I think, why not?
Oh yeah, we get him.
Easy too. I don't know where he's at now. I think he might be like in South America hooping.
Yeah, he's somewhere hooping right now. I just saw a post on him. Somebody sent it to me on the way up here. So, man, you need to get him on the
Yes,
podcast.
bro,
I'm
I'm
like,
telling
bro,
you.
everybody keeps sending me
Brandon's
him.
story is going to be just like everybody else who's already been on here because we've all played against each other from a young age. So his story is going to sound very similar to mine. But it's also going to be a lot different because he had to go.
Man.
You feel me? He came from the mud, had to go to Walter State. Now he's at MT. He was at MT with me. Now he's balling. I'm talking about killing. He just had 30 and 20 the other night.
Yep. So I think that's the little thing somebody sent me.
Yeah. So like everybody's story is different. I'd love to hear him put his story in words though.
That'd be fire, man.
You feel me?
So Brandon Walters, bro, that's what's up, man. Man, I enjoyed this podcast, bro. You got a great story, man. Finishing off, had to retire early out of nowhere too. That's, that had to have been a lot. And then you really found yourself, back home at MTSU, helping the younger guys, try to achieve their dreams like you did, MTSU to the pros.
It's a great ride, man. Great ride, but what they say, all good stories come to an end eventually.
Definitely come to an end, man.
But it's not the end. It's just like a little break.
No, it's just the next chapter.
Yeah, it's the next chapter.
Yeah, no, that chapter's ended because, you eventually got to stop playing. So now you're coaching. Leave the young listeners with some words of wisdom, man, and we'll close it out.
Man, words of wisdom. Let me think. Go for it. That's probably the best thing I can tell you in anything, though. Whether that be football, basketball, baseball, playing the violin, whatever it is, man, go for it. Eventually, it's going to work out. If it don't work out the first time, stick with it. It's going to happen eventually. So that's all I can really say. That's all I've ever lived by is go for it. Running track, doing high jump, playing basketball, football, going to Baylor in its own right. Like, that was a scary transition going from a public middle school to a private middle school. Like, that's two different worlds. So you just jump in with both feet and go for it. That's it.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Here's your official Hoop Truck shirt, man. This the new colorway that we just dropped, man. So you get the first one.
Oof. Don't worry about it,
my dog.
It's gonna be on my body tomorrow at the Big 3. I'm wearing this tomorrow. Yes, sir.